Alrighty guys, what is going on? This is part 2 of the last video. So this video, we're gonna go ahead, make sure that this engine actually isn't bad. So in Noor's video that he's recording right now, we actually swapped over a few things and the engine seems to be running better. There is a possibility that it is not a blown engine, but we are gonna do a little bit more diagnosing just to make sure that we don't have to swap the engine, because ideally we would rather not swap the engine. That is kind of a bigger job. We're gonna make sure that it doesn't need a walnut blast and that there's no carbon buildup in the valves. I believe it's called the valves. Like, I can't remember all the terminology, but so we're gonna go ahead and check that. We're gonna take off the intake manifold and double check that there's no carbon buildup in the engine. So that is the plan for now. We did just drive it to Chipotle and back, which is about a 5 to 10 minute drive there, and then 5 to 10 minute drive back. Check engine light wasn't on the way there. Halfway through driving back, the check engine light popped back up. We have not checked the codes yet, so we are gonna go check the codes, see what it's saying now. Like I said, we already swapped out this ignition coil because it's cylinder 1. So now we're gonna go ahead and take off this intake manifold and double check that there's no carbon buildup behind here. We're gonna go ahead and get started on that. But yeah guys, hopefully we won't have to swap this engine. That would be the most ideal. Worst case, which was already the first plan, was to swap in the engine from the last video, as you guys know. So yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this with some purple power because it is really greasy. So that way when we put it back in there, it's like nice and clean. I know I'm kind of weird about that stuff. We ended up checking into the intake. It is a little bit caked up in there. I'm not sure how bad it actually is because I'm not too familiar with that part. I know that that's where you have to look. I just don't know how bad it actually is. But we ended up putting on the charge pipe and the intake and everything. And now we're gonna go ahead and do a compression test just to make sure, because they did claim that it was low compression on cylinder 1. So we are gonna double check just to make sure. Right now we're just putting everything back together real quick, just in case. Alrighty guys, we actually ended up going to Harbor Freight and we got this quick connect compression tester. So it should have the right size for us. We need a M14. Was it M14?
M14. Yeah.
It was an M14, and so this one has an M14. So this should be good to go. So let's go ahead and open this up real quick and then start the compression test. Alrighty guys, so we got the compression tester here. Only 30 bucks. If you guys need a compression test kit, honestly, go to Harbor Freight. 30 bucks.
This is a quick release one.
It's quick
really
release.
Nice.
There was a cheaper one for 25 bucks, but it didn't have the quick release, so I ended up opting for the more expensive one. So we'll see how it works. Oh, you're literally just popping on. That's sick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, that's already in there.
It's already
It's
on?
gripping, yeah.
Nice.
And what's nice, this is a separate piece, so like, you know.
That's cool.
No, that's
I got one.
This is way nicer. 100%.
Hey, if you ever need to borrow it, let me know.
100%. I actually like that kit.
That's actually very nice.
Mine's only works on N52s now. So
I know. Alright, it's on there.
Okay.
Alright, so now we just crank it, right?
Yeah. What's that at?
Like 100.
I'm gonna try it again.
Okay, stop. It's at 100. So that's low. It's low compression.
Yeah, let's try cylinder. Let's try cylinder 2 now.
Just so you guys can see, it is at like 100. So it does look like the engine might be toast, but we're gonna check cylinder 2 just to double check. All right, go for it. This one's at 120.
Can we try it again?
It's at 130, 140.
more time.
It's not doing it. It's not doing it.
Huh?
It's not doing it anymore.
What is it at?
It's at like 140.
140?
Yeah.
Okay, and the first one was 100?
100. It was like, yeah, 100.
So, we're here, we're trying it, might as well.
Alrighty, guys. 120. 140.
So the average is like 140.
140.
So that first one is way too low.
Unfortunately, we realized we already saw this the other day, but we honestly completely forgot about it and still drove it like this. It is not supposed to be like that milky color at all. So technically it could have a blown head gasket. It's all good though, considering that we literally have the engine literally sitting right over here. So yeah, we're gonna be swapping this into this car. Maybe in the future, I'll end up using this engine, completely rebuilding this engine. I'll end up completely reusing this engine. Possibly if this engine blows, I'll be building this one at home in my garage and hopefully doing some upgraded bits. But that would be in the future, considering that so far this is blown. But I'll literally just sit down, take this all apart, and go from there. But yeah, anyway, at this point, Nora and I are gonna go ahead and start taking this all apart. We're gonna take off the front radiator support. We're gonna take off the bumpers, the headlights, the front radiator support, and try to just knock out as much as we can today because I won't have time because I have work the next few days. So I won't be able to knock anything out with Nora. So today is my only day to knock it out until the engine is ready to go in. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started on all of that real quick. Alrighty guys, so Nora just hooked it up with some merch for the 335. So we got some Save the Manuals air fresheners. We got some BMW i8 air fresheners, and we also got some more Save a BMW fresheners, as well as 2 lanyards, and then obviously the jet tag that came with the keys. So very excited. Honestly, I'm gonna put one of these in the car. I'm gonna put this in the car right now, as well as, actually, you know what? I'm only gonna put this one in the car for now, because it is a Save the Manuals, and this is a manual. The main reason I bought it, honestly. So let's go ahead and throw this up right now. It's only worth something because it's a manual. Ooh, it smells very good. It smells fruity. There we go, guys. We got the Save the Manuals.
Hey, black and white too, that's sick.
That fits perfectly. You know what's crazy? At home, I actually got some aluminum trim that I'm probably gonna throw in here. I got a full set of aluminum. This wood is actually not bad. It's the really light wood that I don't like. This dark wood is actually not bad at all. But I have some aluminum trim at home, so I'm probably gonna throw that in here as well. But yeah, Save the Manuals, boys. That's what we're doing out here. Cop some merch. Without further ado,
get into it.
Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so we've taken apart a lot of the car. We got a lot of the engine stuff disconnected. We got the front bumper off. We got the wheels off. And this, guys, look at this. We got some KW coilovers on here. Super excited because the cheapest set of KWs for this car are like $1,700, $1,800 plus tax, however much tax is. So very excited. Probably like a $2,000 set of coilovers, at least, with tax included. So that's nice. Very excited about that. I'm a sucker for a really nice suspension. I've been noticing that I've been liking nice suspension more and more as the time goes on. So nice to have a good set of KW coilovers on here. Now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go underneath the car, unbolt the downpipe and all that stuff.
I'm trying to pull the whole front clip off, and just the headlights and everything coolant, condenser, all that stuff. And I mean, once you get the exhaust out, honestly, it's gonna be ready to get pulled out.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to knock out as much as we can today while it's the two of us here, and then hopefully later this week
we'll do the swap, because we're just waiting.
We'll
honestly, like, we can honestly, if we really grinded today, we could probably get this engine out. Get
we probably could.
Yeah, honestly. But we want to do all the seals and gaskets, like you said. We want to make sure we have new fluids and all that stuff. So
anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, head underneath the car, unbolt a few things, and I'm just gonna keep going for the time lapse. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, we knocked out a ton of stuff. So we ended up taking apart the whole front end, the radiator support, the radiator assembly, the coolant hoses. We've drained the coolant, we drained the power steering. Pretty much mostly everything is ready for it to be pulled out. There's a few things still left, obviously, but the majority is ready, right? You would say that.
I mean, that's it. I mean, we gotta disconnect that oil cooler still. So I had to disconnect the drive shaft.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, just a few more cables on the transmission, and then, you know, a few more bolts down here. We're ready to go. I mean, we can pull this thing out.
There we go. So, yeah, guys, we also found out real quick. I'm gonna go over here. We actually found out that there's an upgraded intercooler on it, and it's actually a CSF upgraded intercooler, which is great because that's one of the best brands of intercooler, and it's a fat intercooler. Like, this is a pretty big intercooler, so I'm very happy. It has it has pretty much all the bolt-ons. This is like a full bolt-on car, so I'm excited because I'm just gonna reuse these parts, clean them up, reuse them. But first we got to get it to pass smog on, obviously put in the new engine and then pass smog, and then once we pass smog, we're gonna be putting on these upgraded parts. So very exciting. Has CSF intercooler, it has the KW coilovers. So this is a great start for a nice power build, and I'm just really excited to actually get this thing done. Huge shout out to Nor for helping me with the engine swap. Honestly, very, very excited to be rocking this thing. Like I said, guys, this is a redemption build because I sold my previous E92 335 too soon. I didn't do any of the plans I had for it just because that quarter panel was just so messed up on it, whereas this one is just a clean slate. Has most of the power mods that we would need anyway, and just honestly very, very excited to finally drive a proper 335i manual, full bolt-on tune, stage 2. Hopefully that's the goal, and then we'll move on from there, maybe push some more power. So anyway, this is the end of part 2. Hopefully the next video will be us putting in the engine. I know I've been doing a lot of engine swap videos on the F30 and now this, but sometimes those are the good deals. I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here. Make sure to go ahead, subscribe down below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. Follow Nor on Instagram as well. With that being said, guys, remember, stay safe, stay happy, and stay in that project car. I'll catch you guys later.